This is the first of 3 short videos on foiling and factoring. In this video we'll look just at foiling. Foiling is a way to multiply two binomials, which are two expressions of two terms. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. This essentially tells us how to multiply. So we're going to look at 3 examples of this process, and then in the next videos we'll talk about undoing this process. Our first example is x plus 2 times x plus 3. So to FOIL here basically means we're going to multiply our first term of x by our first term of x. So that takes care of the firsts. Then we'll do our outer terms of x and 3. X times 3. Then we'll do our inner terms of 2 times x. And we'll end with our last terms of 2 times 3. So I'm writing out more steps than you likely will use as you get comfortable, but let's clean up what we have here. So x times x gives x squared. X times 3 gives just 3x. 2 times x is 2x, and we had 2 times 3 giving 6. So after foiling, we notice that there are some like terms, and that's what we'll do next, is just combine them. So if we combine our like terms of 3x and 2x in this example, it means we have x squared plus 5x plus 6 as the final cleaned up FOILed version of our original problem. So that's one example of foiling. As I mentioned, this step here where I really kind of labeled out each piece might not be as necessary as you get comfortable, as long as we understand the first, the outer, the inner, and the last. So let's try 2 more of these. If we have x minus 1 times x plus 7, taking care of our first terms, x times x would give us x squared. Then looking at our outer terms, x times 7, that would give us 7x. Then going for our inner terms, negative 1 times x gives us negative 1x. And our last terms, negative 1 times 7 gives negative 7. Again, we have some like terms. 7x and negative x will combine, and that gives us x squared plus 6x minus 7 as the final result of foiling. So far pretty good taking care of the multiplication. Now what happens if our example becomes a bit more complicated? So in this example I have a 4x out front of the two binomials. So you can do this a few different ways. I'm going to go ahead and work on foiling our binomials first, cleaning up that result, and distributing this little 4x term out front at the very end. So let's go through that process. If again I just focus on my binomials, the first times the first, x times x, would give us our x squared. Our outer, x times negative 2, would give us negative 2x. Our inner, 5 times x, would give us 5x. And our last, 5 times negative 2, would give us negative 10. So that's the result of foiling. But don't forget to pull down this 4x from out front. He's still there, and we'll deal with him in just a moment. So let's combine our like terms from our foiling result. We have a negative 2x and a positive 5x, which gives us just a 3x for our middle term. And now what we'll do to finish off this problem is use the distributive property. So it looks like our next little task here will be to take this 4x and distribute it to all 3 terms within the parentheses. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times 3x is 12x squared. And 4x times negative 10 is negative 40x. So we end with 4x cubed plus 12x squared minus 40x. If this is feeling pretty comfortable, please try out the practice exercises.